YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and anywhere you could see this video. We are in the building for the review, season 4, episode 5 of Snowfall. Joining me are my esteemed guests, family, friends, Larry the Living Legend. How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm doing me. You know how we do.
Know how we do. And the homegirl, the sister from another, up in the New York area, Moochella, who hang with the fellas. How you doing, Moochie?
Hey, everybody.
Moochie!
What's
And
me coming?
look, let me tell y'all something. Moochie done got this party started right, asking me and Larry hard-ass questions about Snowfall that we can't answer. I mean, just asking us just tough-ass questions. And we're going to bring that question back up as we get into the review. Be sure to subscribe to all our channels, but more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, be sure that when you come to our channels, you watch more than one video. Go through our playlist, check out some of the other great content that we put out. Nita the Diva should be joining us real soon. My people, let's dive into it. And we always start these reviews with a quick recap of the action that went down from the very last episode. So take a look at this and then we will break it down.
5-year-old niece was just murdered. You really want to go to war? Go with Leon.
We protect Leon. Go to war, or we give him up and prevent one.
You gotta hand him over, Franklin.
Sharks smell blood. They gonna come.
So I want you guys to do like we always do. 1 minute, full synopsis of your overall thoughts on this last episode. Larry, you get the floor first.
Man, this episode was fantastic in a lot of ways. It was just good storytelling. I'll put it like that. It was just good old-fashioned storytelling, and I really enjoyed it. I know that that it's sort of a transition episode, but it was an episode that told a really good story in the service of that transition. So I still have questions about stuff that people do some really dumb decisions, like why don't people just leave town? Like just get gone. You know?
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us tonight is Nita the Diva. And Nita the Diva, we're just going through having everybody give a 60-second synopsis of this past episode. So, Moochie, it's your turn. Give us 60 seconds of your overall thoughts on episode 5.
All right, this was a build-up episode for me. That's what I took it as, a build-up episode for things to come.
Okay, I like that.
I liked it. I liked it. I don't want to go too far ahead, but I like the whole episode. I liked what Franklin did, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'll elaborate on more later.
Yes, she will, ladies and gentlemen, because she take notes. You hear me? She do her homework, so y'all ain't gonna be pulling the wool over my homie, the Moochie. And last but definitely not least, the lovely Nita the Diva's in the building. Nita, give us your 60-second synopsis of this last episode.
This is definitely a lot of setup. It was some very touching moments in there. Gosh, all I know is that it doesn't look like it's going to go the way we think it's going to go. It looks like it's going to go a different way from what I saw. I kept thinking it was going to be Skully, but I don't think
so. Well, let's talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. Skully in a second. But let's go ahead and just start out with the opening scene. I'll get everybody's opinion. So this episode started out with something I predicted from my trailer review. You had Fatback and Leon out there with that car. In my trailer review, I said I thought that they might be blowing up the evidence, but the way they knee-jerk kind of seemed like they didn't, but it turns out that they did. Larry, smart move, dumb move to blow up this car.
I mean, probably on I mean, it's hard to say because we already know for a fact that it was sort of probably it was probably a net neutral move. Let me just say that. Part of me wants to say it was a good move because the initial thought was behind it was, well, they may be looking for the car, so let's destroy the evidence. But as they said, they already have Leon's fingerprints on the on one of the bullets they found in the dead girl's car, so they already know who they're looking for. So this ended up being a nothing burger, But if they were looking for that car and they were driving around in that car, they might have been picked up a little bit earlier, and so it might have been. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. It just turned out to be a net neutral.
Okay, Moochie, any thoughts on this opening scene?
I thought that was a smart idea.
Okay.
I thought it was smart for them to split up too, because Fatback wanted to go right with him.
He sure did.
And I was like, nah, they need to split up at this point.
Yeah. Nita the Diva, what did you feel on the opening scene? Good move, bad move?
I mean, just like Larry said, I think it was a good move. It shows that they are giving some thought to some things. Like at first, sometimes they act and it just doesn't pan out right. But it seems like they were thinking about getting away evidence, getting rid of it, and doing all of that stuff, splitting up, trying to make a game plan for themselves. And so even though it turned out to be moot because they got the bullet with the fingerprints and stuff like that. And then we also have a eyewitness. So, I mean, you could say it's good or bad, but it turned out to be indifferent.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm with everybody. This was smart, but they didn't know that they've got fingerprints on bullets and eyewitnesses. So, I mean, they just covering their asses. What more can you ask for them? Now, this next scene is when the story started to get a little touchy. All right, we'll go through these real quick. So the next scene we see Skully rolls up in the hospital as Khadijah is sitting there in her feelings, as she should be. Skully's in his feelings too. This was his baby girl, but he's coming in the hospital as a black man with a perm, terrorizing, making noise, looking for his baby. He finds her, and then at the very end, they show this very, very emotional. Now this is a scene for the ages right here. Man who has lost his daughter. You've got the mother sitting there who is not really having a good relationship with her brother, who's the uncle, because of the guy who she's cresting right here. However, one could make a legitimate argument that you brought all this stuff on yourself. So having said that, I'm gonna go to you first, Moochie. What was you feeling during this kind of emotional scene?
I felt like they did bring it on themselves. It was a dumb move for her to still be. I thought she left him. She said she wasn't dealing with him like that anymore.
I thought she did too, but the way they was behaving with each other in this episode seems like there still might be a flame going on.
Exactly. She seemed like she wears the pants.
God,
I'm just saying.
Mooch.
Look, she did. Like she controlling, she orchestrating all of this right now.
Yeah.
If you mess this up, I think she's gonna take control.
She did, right? She did seem like she was regulating.
Larry's your turn, man. I'm laughing at Mooch because Mooch take notes. And she did. She was dropping that hammer on Skully left and right and her brother. Floor is yours, Larry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this and I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess that the tears are real and all that, but part of me is just like, whatever, dude. I'm like, you had your baby girl up there running around in a car with drug dealers and murderers. And at the same time, you're up there talking about you are in an active shooting war with another crew, and you're up there have your baby girl in a car with these people. It's like I just couldn't feel bad for him at all. at all. I mean, like maybe I would feel bad for the little girl, but the little girl doesn't need anybody to feel bad for anymore. She's dead. So, I mean, I can't feel bad. I mean, I can't even feel bad for the mom. The mom was fully aware of what's going on with these dudes, and she's rolling around with a car with them. I mean, if I had a friend who was a drug dealer and a gang member and he was in an active shooting war, I'd have been like, yo, homie, hit me up in a couple of months when this shit's done. I don't want any parts of it. We can be cool. Text me, call me, but FaceTime me. Just don't come through the crib. Don't come by. I'm not rolling around with you. If I see you in the club, I'm going to another club. I don't want to be anywhere near you. You know? I mean, that's just the way it is. You chose that lifestyle. Cool. Your decision. Not, you know, that's on you. Just don't put me and my loved ones, you know, anywhere around it. But we can see how she is. She's a gangster chick. She's up there too. She's up there basically telling these dudes to go out and kill folks in revenge. So it's not like she's the type that's innocent. She knew what she was doing, and she knew the type of dude that she was with. So, I mean, I don't feel bad for either one of them.
Neither the diva. You get last dibs on this opening scene. Do you have any remorse for anybody opening up this story?
I do. I absolutely do. You know, despite the lifestyle that they chose and, you know, all of that, I still feel bad that little girl lost her life. I still feel bad how bad Skully took it. He really took that thing hard. And I was choked up a little bit because he did a really good job emoting, you know, the feelings of a heartbroken parent and stuff like that. And Khadijah, like I said, this is Khadijah's revenge. I don't even think it's going to be Skully. I think it's going to be Khadijah. That look in her eye.
Hey, well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Neither the diva is saying it's going to be Khadijah that's going to pull the trigger. Now,
like I said, she wearing the pants.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now, man, as somebody who is, I'm probably a little older than everybody else on here, and as somebody who grew up in LA during the midst of all of this gang and crack shit, man, we hated them motherfuckers. Because every time you turn on the news and there was a shooting, it wasn't these gangsters getting shot and killed up. It was always a little kid or some honor student or some dude that was about to go pro playing sports or just got a full ride scholar. It was always someone like that who just got killed. Like the bullets just seemed to go around all the gangsters and aim right towards the good folks. And so, man, we couldn't stand the motherfuckers. I have no sympathy for them, man. You knew the life you were leading.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. Now, some would say this next scene comes with the territory too, but I do take opposition to what happened, and this is what I'm talking about. Leon is on his last leg. He's running from the cops. He's running from ManBoy. He's running from Skully, and he knows he needs to lay low, get out of town, get out of Dodge. So he goes home to dig up his money that he had buried in the yard somewhere, and the mama took it.
We know where he gets his hair from, though.
Oh yeah, she got some mean hair right there. But ladies and gentlemen, I was not with the mama taking the money, especially after Leon intimated that he paid for that house, he paid for one of those kids to go to school, and he paid for her car. I think she was wrong to take his money. However, you can see that there is a genuine love there because he didn't snap on her and yell her out. And she seemed like she had genuine remorse for what he's going through, at the same time trying to protect the rest of the family. And by the time he got ready to go, to show that she still loved him, she gave him a coat to be cold as she kicked his ass out the house. A robe.
Funky robe.
A robe. Well, I mean, you know, she could have sent him out there with nothing. So I'm going to go to you first, Nita the Diva. What was you thinking during this whole entire exchange with Leon and his mother?
She was wrong. She reminded me, it reminded me of that scene where in P Valley when the girl.
Oh yeah. Do y'all remember P Valley when homegirl mama, the pastor lady, took that girl $20,000 she had to start her dance studio, and then the mama went and took the property. Damn.
Right. That's what
she's one of those foul mothers too.
And she was a mess too. I said, "Oh no!" She's like, "You can take this."
She gave him a rope. So she spent $20,000 on a robe, gave it to Leon. Costco, be more careful. Moochie, what was going through your brain through this exchange?
My first thing was like, did she really spend the money? And his look on his face is like he's so used to being disappointed by her.
Right. Yeah, good point. That's a great point. I thought about the same thing. The look on his face was just like, this has been happening a very long time. It wasn't like this was a one-off. He's been disappointed by this woman over and over and over again. And I don't know, man. Larry, what'd you think?
I mean, I had a different feeling about it because I was like, when she said, when he told her that was for emergencies, she was like, I've had all kinds of emergencies. She was like, I've had to pay for so-and-so's dialysis, and I had to pay for so-and-so's other medical issues they had. She was like, I've had all kinds of emergencies, and you haven't been around here in like 3 months. So I was like, well, what is she supposed to do? Is she supposed to sit up there with $20,000 buried in her backyard and then let her other child die from liver disease or kidney disease or whatever she's doing?
If she needed money, she could have called Leon, number one, and number
but she
two.
Said he hadn't been around, so he's still.
He's got a phone.
She had called and he hadn't come around.
He's got a phone. He's got a page. She didn't say that. She just said he ain't been around.
I thought she said that she had called him and he hadn't been around like 3 months.
No, she did not say that.
She didn't say that. Secondly, anyone who gets dialysis, Larry, I should know, my wife's a kidney doctor. Anyone who gets dialysis automatically gets medicated, don't matter how poor you are, how rich you are. Keep going.
I mean, if that's the case, if the Medicaid was paid for, then fine. But maybe they didn't have Medicaid. Maybe they didn't go through and fill the paperwork out. I'm thinking. I mean, part of my thought was, you had $20,000. Don't pay for dialysis in cash. Go get yourself some Kaiser or some Blue Cross Blue Shield or something, and then let the insurance pay for it. Go pay your $20 copay. But
the 80s,
but
nobody thinking like that.
What?
I think it's the 80s. Nobody thinking like that.
I had Kaiser in the 80s.
Well, it don't matter. In the 80s,
you had Medicaid then, right?
Yeah, Medicaid in the 80s, it doesn't matter. If you had kidney failure from 1968 till now, it don't matter what your status is in life. You are disabled and you get Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one pays for it.
The thing that got me when all this jumped off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't understand is why Leon didn't go. Well, first of all this happened because he was dumb to begin with and didn't pop Khadijah. That was the first thing. He should have lit her up. Mm-hmm. And then he wouldn't even be in this issue. It just would have been he killed everybody in that car,
mm-hmm.
and that's that. Mm-hmm. Maybe they still would have got the fingerprint off there. I don't know, but what he should have done, soon as that happened, the first thing he should have done is gone back over to his to the projects where he was, got his money up out the house where he eventually ended up going to get it. He should have went there first and then left, because when something happens, you have to move fast before other people have a chance to react. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It would have taken time for Khadijah to go get in contact with ManBoy or Skully, and it would have taken time for them to get up and organized and moving. By that time, he would have been got his money and got up out of there. And with that pile of cash and Franklin's connection with the CIA, they potentially could have gotten Leon out of the country. He could have went and talked to Reed and been like, yo, I need to get my mans and them out the country. Can you get them to Cuba or Honduras or Mexico, wherever? I mean, Mexico's literally 2 hours away from LA. He could have driven down to the border, parked and walked across. And I mean, I've done that for decades. And
Larry, I don't think it's too late for that. I mean, you've already seen Teddy get these airplanes that are off the radar and flies back and forth. I don't think it's too late for that if it comes to it.
It is too late for that because the thing is that they saw Leon and Unc, roll up to his uncle, roll up and rescue Leon. So
that's right. That's right.
The war is on. It doesn't matter if they get Leon out or not. Leon may live and they die, but the war is on at this point. The only thing that may stop it is if they say, hey, we're going to hand him over, but we want to hand him over on our terms because we want to actually talk to him first. And that's why we went and got him. That may be, if they hand him over, that may temper everything down. But other than that, we already see Leon's not that Franklin's not giving him up.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Now, this was a telling scene. Khadijah talking to her brother ManBoy. And obviously, the tensions have been high between these two. She really wasn't feeling ManBoy coming on to her now in the incident that the niece is dead, but he was able to pop through all the strife that they had to, in essence, say, let's come together, let's make this thing happen. Larry, how did you feel about this scene? Did you buy it? Did you buy the remorse? Did you buy her forgiving him? Or do you feel like she might just double cross him one day?
I mean, I'm sure there was some genuine remorse there, but it's just it's remorse that as somebody who can see so clearly the ridiculousness of it, it's sort of like, okay, you want to go out there and you want to hang out with drug dealers and criminals and murderers, and then when somebody gets murdered, you want to cry and boo-hoo like you didn't realize it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. So how could you really feel that bad? It's like if you go to war with someone, yeah, you're going to cry over your fellow soldier, your friend getting shot, but someone's getting shot and killed, you're out at war. It's like there's a certain amount of disconnection that people have. It's like so you can keep going. And this is just, but I did think it was, in this scene, I thought it was funny that ManBoy sort of checked her ass when she tried to say, you didn't even know her middle name. And then he turned around and gave her the middle name and was like, I should have known her better, but, don't think I didn't love her, didn't know her,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Muchella, thoughts on this exchange between brother and sister?
I feel like a ManBoy's an opportunist.
Oh.
I feel like he's an opportunist. He started this whole thing with the whole shooting from last season.
Right.
And I think he's stirring the pot. I think he's gonna get in where he fits in, because where he could stop them two from going back and forth at each other, him and Skully. And now he's trying to take over. He wants Franklin's spot. I've been saying.
I was gonna say, you and Nita both at some point in time both said you feel like the main person we should be worried about is ManBoy, because he wants to be the top dog in the area. And, he went at Skully with Franklin, didn't pan out. Now he's found a reason or a catapult to get back in good with his sister and Skully. Nita, what did you think about this interaction between brother and sister?
Yep, just what Moochie said. It's just like he's trying to stir the pot and trying to figure out like where the chips fall. Like he's going to find some way to be on top. He's going to double cross somebody. I don't know if it's going to be Khadijah. I feel more so that he, with this a new alliance, the friend of my enemy is my friend, that whole thing, he's going to try to flip that some way and maybe take Skully out. And then next thing you know, the only two players on the board is him and Franklin.
You know what? I'll say this: as far as ManBoy in the whole thing with his niece, I think that ManBoy may be the only one who truly has some grief and genuine feelings about the niece, and that is because, like, if in that scene, and maybe you're going to get to it, Lamont, but this scene where ManBoy and Skully were talking, and Skully told him. He told him when he came in the house, you told me not to have my little girl around all this. If you told me that, and he felt real bad. He went and sat down after that, and it was one of those things. It was like, yeah, ManBoy was telling him, look, you know what kind of life we're in. Don't have my niece around all this shit. Just don't have her around all of it. And he did anyways. And then look what happened. So, it seemed like ManBoy was the only one that may have been actually trying to look out for the little girl.
Yeah. Well, sticking with ManBoy, I don't know why they gave this character that name, but they did. Now he rolls up on Franklin. And Franklin, playing the smooth operator that he is, and sometimes, y'all, Franklin gets on my nerve being too smooth. When someone rolls up to you and get in your face like this, I want you to puff your chest out. I want you to get a little bit more bass in your voice. I want you to be like N-word, back up off me. You can say what you need to say, social distancing like we in COVID. Because ManBoy rose up in here and say, partner, what you gonna do? You need to turn over Leon, we gonna have a war. And Moochie, I give this one to you first. Thoughts on this exchange?
Franklin needs to learn how to fight. That's what he and at this point he was looking scared. I was like, why is he looking scared?
Well, he just learned how to walk again.
You feel me? See, Moochie?
You could have hit him with that damn thing.
See, Moochie? And I'm gonna tell you who ain't never scared and always ready. This brother right here, the uncle, he was digging in his back pocket when ManBoy came in because he was ready.
He was getting ready for them.
Yeah.
Uncle, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that life, but he's living it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. All right. Nita the Diva, what was you thinking?
Yeah, you know what, Moochie, it's funny that you say that because I used to always say in season 1 and season 2, he was always getting his ass beat. He always was.
Exactly.
I was just like, I thought he would at least learn something by now, but I mean, I guess the underdog, I guess that's the underdog thing that you want to kind of have going on there. But yeah, man, he looked like he was tough, like tough in the chest. Like, yeah, he was playing it too cool. I agree with you with that.
Yeah,
but,
man, come on, Franklin.
For sure. And I say, if you can't fight, then you need to get some muscle, for sure.
Well, he definitely got some muscle. I mean, I don't know how much more muscle you want to get. What you gonna get? Kali muscle? You gonna get Phil Heath?
Need somebody else too. I don't know.
Larry.
What I don't understand why Franklin just doesn't go to Reed and say, "Hey, can I borrow Gustavo for a couple of days?" and just set up, get a sniper rifle, set up, ping, ManBoy's done. Because ManBoy is his organization. Without ManBoy, the rest of them are just a bunch of nothing burgers. They'll just all sort of wander about aimlessly trying to figure out where they're going to get some drugs and what they're going to do with the organization. They have nothing without him. Take out the head of the snake off and it's done.
Larry, or you wouldn't be saying, let me make sure I understand what you're saying here. If this was Power, you aren't saying that if this was Tommy's crew, you get rid of Tommy and Too Big and the other one just going to be failing around. Nobody's going to take leadership. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, absolutely. Because we can see that Too Big has no organizational skills. Too Big is just basically is just muscle.
Okay.
He's just muscle. All his first instinct is to hurt and kill people. He has no real organizational skills.
Okay. I can get with that. Well, I feel you, and we'll get on to this next one, man. And a lot of people don't like this next one that we're going to cover, but I think it has it's got some weight to it. So let's just dive on into it. This story going on with Gustavo. He shows up drunk, people. He shows up drunk. He's playing with the kids. And, he's feeling a little hot in the pants. Sometimes liquor make you feel like that. Some fellas, can't use their weapon. And then others can use it really good when they're drunk. Anyway, he's causing the ruckus. And the police has to come to this lady's house. She actually called 911 when she heard all the noise. Nita, you get it first. What was going through your mind when this scene popped up?
This scene was pretty comical to me. I was cracking up because Gustavo, he was acting a fool. I was cracking up. She had started calling the police. I was like, what is she doing? She need to go see what's going on. Well, I guess you could just call the police if you're a woman in the house by yourself. Then
yeah,
go ahead, call the police first and deal with that later. But at the same time, it was funny. And then I didn't know that they had that type of situation where he was like being frisky with her. Like, I ain't never seen that. Are they past lovers or something?
Mm-hmm. Moochie?
He probably was messing with her because it wasn't her brother married to her sister?
Yep. Sure was.
They probably was messing around.
Hey, I mean, look, Gustavo's a real D now. Don't get Gustavo twisted. You're going to go to a war, you want to take somebody named Gustavo with you. Larry, what was going through your mind when this whole thing happened?
I'll be honest, the first thing that came to my mind was I'm calling complete bullpucky on this, because anybody who grew up in LA, or really for anywhere in the area, anybody who has experienced life living in a Black or Hispanic neighborhood knows there's no way in hell they're going to have response times like that when you call 911. I mean, come on now. It's going to take them folks like 20, 30 minutes to get over there. You know,
Larry,
and that's if they show up.
Larry, you aren't saying that the police are racist, are you? What are you saying?
I'm saying there's no way in hell them cops would even have showed up, and it would have been Gustavo and her could have got it in. He could have finished and left and had a nice meal and left before them cops would have showed up. Come on, man.
Moochie, finish this thing
I'll tell you what I'll tell you my real thoughts on this is that I think Gustavo signed his death certificate. I think what he did is made Reed realize, okay, as soon as I'm done with this guy, he's done. I'm gonna have to get him killed, because his first thing was he started screaming, "You can't do this! I'm CIA! I'm CIA!"
Right.
And then Reed had to go get him out. So I think Reed realized, I'm gonna use him for as long as he's useful, and then I'm killing him.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Moochie, you get last word on this one, Moochie.
I agree with Larry. He is gonna use them, and then he's gonna get a bullet to the head, because he's reckless. This the second time he done did something where he's like out of control. We had to reel him back in.
Is there no situation where he could team up with Franklin and they can work together? Do y'all not see that anywhere in the cards?
Possibly.
Okay.
If he help get him out of this.
Yeah. I just have a feeling next season is going to involve the team up between these two. And y'all still remember from season 1, Franklin met this man as a luchador and had tremendous respect for him. And then they've had some history in between that, but that's how they first met. So I think there's a chance, but we'll see. And we'll move on now, people, to this is going to be very simple right here. We find Leon in that robe that covers up most of his body except for his hair and his knees at the homeless shelter ran by Franklin's dad. Nita, where did you think Franklin was going to go?
I mean, I think that was actually a good idea. I don't see nobody looking for him there.
Good point. Good point.
You know, the fact that he was there, and technically he is like homeless, staying on the low. So I wasn't mad at it. I just felt so bad for Leon in this.
Yeah.
So they really went through the gamut of emotions with him and how he's trying to. I wonder what Fatback doing. They ain't really show too much of him, but yeah, Leon.
I'm sure we're gonna find out about Fatback. You believe me. Moochie. As a matter of fact, Moochie has a great question dealing with that she's gonna ask us sooner or later. Moochie, thoughts on Leon showing up at the homeless shelter?
This was the perfect place for him to go. Because now he could still get in touch with Franklin, because you know his father's gonna tell him that he's here. Mm-hmm. And because before that he was under the underpass, and it got too cold, so they all went to the shelter.
Yeah, I mean it was so cold under that underpass you could see their breath. I was like, damn, that's real cold, unless they got some kind of Hollywood machine that blow breath out your mouth. Larry, thoughts on Leon showing up at the homeless shelter?
I mean, in all sense, he should have just went to Leon's spot. I mean, he went there because he wanted Leon to find him. So, I mean,
you think he wanted Franklin to find him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Franklin's. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to go to Franklin's dad's shelter if you don't want Franklin to come get you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a call for help right there. He didn't. I mean, he could have went somewhere else potentially. He could have found some other place to sleep, but he went there because he wanted Franklin to find him. Okay. He should have just went to Franklin in the first place and been like, yo, I effed up, you know.
Hook a brother up.
Yeah.
I feel you. All right. Now, this is the part I'm saying a lot of people are going to disagree with. A lot of people don't even like this storyline, but it's part of the story, so we got to cover it. And I'm talking about Irene. Irene's other editor got fired, and now she's working for the white guy. Her words, not mine. And in the beginning, they don't want to cover this story that she's got all this information for until she can get some bona fide eyewitnesses, which she later is going to get. So Larry, I'm gonna swing this one to you first. How are you feeling about this Irene story?
Man, I'm loving her story, to be honest with you. You know, I love hers. This is one of my favorite angles because this whole thing, I mean, as far as like this whole thing that this story is based off of, her story is just so integral to this whole thing. It was like her and the reporting of the news of this reporter is what blew up the whole crack thing in LA. It blew up the drug dealing with the CIAs. It caused that thing with the Contras and blew up Reagan and Oliver North. All that shit came out of her reporting. It was absolutely fantastic. So I'm loving this story, man. I hope they focus on it some more.
Now, see, the thing that a lot of this is how, Larry, when I read comments of people talking about storyline, this is how I know they're young as hell or they don't understand the world. And these be the ones who claim they so fucking woke. Because exactly what you just said. If you understand the backstory to this and you're just not some wet behind the ears person, I don't know how you can't be excited about her storyline if they do it to justice for what Larry just described. Because she is the backbone of the story. There wouldn't been a story. This wouldn't be a story if it wasn't for her. So,
right.
You know, before you get up here and start acting like you fake woke, you know, do a little homework, man, some real homework, and stop talking about you ain't gonna get your corona shot because you don't trust the government, but then go spend a SSI check. Give it to you,
we
Moochie.
wouldn't even know, to be honest with you, if this reporter hadn't done this story, if this paper hadn't done the story, you know, all we probably would have known about is maybe you know, the freeway Ricky Ross to do that Franklin's plane probably would have continued dealing drugs. He probably would have maybe at some point would have gotten out or gotten killed. The CIA would have you know, they would have finished their dealings with them and their connection with them, and it would have just been buried. And we wouldn't really have known much about it. It would have been some people talking about it, but it would never really been confirmed. It would have just been rumors and urban legend, and that's what it would have been left at. And we wouldn't have had even this show. So,
Moochie, what are your thoughts on Irene and Irene's storyline?
I'm agreeing with old girl 81 in the chat. She's doing too much. She's doing too much.
She got to do her job, Moochie. Look, a reporter's job.
Even the reporter don't want. He's like, you know what? I really don't want to touch this, even if my paper's going under.
I was about to say they paper going under. They need a hit. They need a hit. They need a hit bad, Moochie. And
Moochie's younger. You need to go back and see when you have those old school reporters that were gritty. Them folks used to put their lives on the line. They were like, I don't care if you firebomb my house and blow up my car. I'm coming for you. Still.
I watched Killer Messenger, and I saw what they did to him, to the guy that really broke the story.
Yeah, and don't forget about Bob Woodward breaking Watergate, and I can just say this.
I think she's gonna end up getting hurt.
Oh yeah, I do too. But here's the thing:
gonna break that story though. That's the important thing.
This is one of the only careers you get paid to be a professional nosy person. Now, Nita, I give it to you. Thoughts on the Irene storyline?
Yeah, I'm with Larry on this one. I definitely like the angle that they're playing, and that's what I like about Snowfall and how they have like the Mexican cartel, then they have the guns dealers, then they have all these little the journalists, the police. Everybody has their own little role that's going to end up clashing together, and it just intertwines and make for a more dramatic show. Yes, she's doing too much. But like in the name of the story, that's what it is. And for something that is so big, that is a big deal actually. So I don't mind it, and it looks like she's getting some leeway, and I hope she just don't what you call it, give yourself enough rope to hang yourself. I hope she don't do that, but
yeah. Good reporting, my friend who's a professional, but you ain't getting paid to be nosy. Good reporting on your half. Talking about Irene. Now here we go to another scene where I'm kind of on the fence with Larry, where you get what you sign up for, but I'm still emotional because a child is involved. So we're back to the hospital. Skully and Khadijah's here. The nurse who's in a wheelchair is passing them Khadijah's stuff. And this was one of those scenes where Skully is just showing a more of his sensitive side, his soft side. He even grabs Khadijah's hand because Khadijah at first like, I don't want the stuff. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Skully grabs her hand and holds it. Larry, what was your thought? I already know what you're thinking, but go and say it.
Oh, well, I mean, here we are. They're up there mourning the fact and all emotional the fact that someone killed their daughter. And the first thing they want to do is go out and kill someone's son. So they haven't learned a lesson. They haven't learned nan lesson. So I don't feel it. I mean, they knew what they were getting into and they still want to live that life. So go on and live it. And when you get killed or someone else that you love gets killed, then go on. You know,
now, before I give it to Moochie, let me shout out Laney Womack, who comes in here to smack Larry around every now and then. Laney, I appreciate you, and it's because of great people like you that keep my channel going, Nita's channel going, Larry's channel going. Y'all come and y'all give unselfishly to the work that we do and trying to entertain you guys. I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And for that, let me give you.
Laney just does that because she likes me. It's what they say when you punch the kid on the playground that you like. That's all that is, you know.
Well, what do you say when this happens to the kid on the park?
Not want a pet because they're spiky.
Oh my god!
Now.
Lady, that's for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And stick with us, man. We try to entertain you guys.
Tyra went head over heels.
Oh, yeah. Moochie, we're going to swing it to you now. I want you to finish up. How you feeling with these two at the hospital?
He seemed like he want to go wherever that body go right now. He doesn't want to leave her. It looks like the girl is getting her plan, thinking her plan in action. Because remember, the police came there before and she didn't say anything. She said she didn't see anything.
Right. Yep.
He wants to be with her now. Where was he when that car was there?
Yep. Neither the diva.
Some stuff in his ears.
You know, exactly.
He need to get a better hairdo, man. Was everybody rocking Jerry curls and stuff like that back in the 80s, Larry, or is it just me?
No, I mean, I think that dude just has straight hair. He has one of those looks where he's just probably one of them dudes that just has straight hair like that.
Hell no. No.
It doesn't look, because it doesn't look like a perm. Because when you have a perm like that, if your hair gets dry, like his hair looks dry for the most part, it doesn't look like that. It's like his hair doesn't look like it's permed up.
Look like a perm to me. Nita, finish us off. Thoughts on this hospital scene?
Yeah, like I said, this scene was the scene that was very telling for me. Whereas what we was going to see where each other head was at. Very, very emotional, but she is not. And I felt bad. I still felt bad. Like I said, I still feel bad. They have not learned their lessons. They just live by the streets, and I feel like they just don't know no better. I think they're young. It's one of those type things. Like, we said the scenario why you didn't have snipers up there. Like, this is not like, the SWAT team. This is just like life, So they're young. They're learning hard lessons, and yeah, I felt bad. But like I said, it told me a lot about Khadijah. Somebody in the comments said that they think they saw Khadijah busting out the window of a car, and he thinks that's who shot Louis.
Oh, I can see that. I can see that. And I'll try to have that fresh trailer review for y'all. If not tomorrow, by Saturday, maybe I can find that clip for you. Next scene, I think everyone's going to be in agreement. You ain't need to have Ray Charles glasses to see this link up coming back. So right now you got Leon being staged up in one of Franklin's free rentals in his apartment. Larry, did we not know this was going to happen?
Yeah, we knew this was going to happen, but man, I during this whole scene, right? this whole scene, right, where maybe it's actually after and maybe you're gonna touch on it later, so I'll leave it be. But if you don't mention it later, I'll just bring it up again. But I think this part, we knew that he was gonna save him. I didn't think that Franklin was gonna throw him under the bus. You know.
I know what scene you're talking about too, Larry, and we definitely gonna be covering that.
So, but I mean, I want to feel bad for Leon, but I just can't. The dude's a damn gangster and a drug dealer. He killed a little kid. I can't feel bad for any of them. I mean, when anything bad happens to any of them, I just can't feel bad for him. The only one that I halfway feel bad for is Ugg, because he doesn't want to be there, but he's still there because of family. But part of me is like, at some point, you have to just get up on out of there. But I mean, he killed a little kid. So I mean, if he gets taken out, I mean, it's a terrible thing, but it is what it is.
Intentional though. You act like he went up there and he really was trying to bust on that little girl.
No, but when you fire blindly into a car, you know the possibilities of who's going to be in there. You don't. It's just like if you go and you fire blindly into someone's house because you're doing a drive-by and you happen to kill someone's grandma, you can't turn around and say, "Well, I wasn't aiming for the grandma." No, but you aimed shooting up the house trying to kill everybody up in that piece, and if grandma was in there, you knew it was a possibility.
But here's the problem. They start trying to shoot at him first.
That's what I was going to say. I think at that point,
did they not have a gas pedal?
He was like, I'm just going to take everybody out. And then when he realized, you see how he backed off.
They didn't have a gas pedal. They couldn't just drive the car.
I agree with you with that.
Wait a minute, y'all. She's back again. I've never had someone do two super chats in the same video. let me read it. Since I got a little steamy yesterday, this is for the ladies on the show. Love that we have some women on here to #girl power. Lainey, don't you know me and Larry, we loves the ladies.
You know?
We loves the ladies. We be inviting ladies to come up here and chat with us, but y'all seem to be intimidated by our masculinity. And it's not toxic either. It's good masculinity. So y'all come get some. And for that, Lainey, let me give you for that, lady, let me give you this one, and I'm not referring to this as you.
I'm gonna try to do a little poetry for y'all. It's an original piece written by me, Fly Guy. And I want to dedicate this piece to all you players and all you ladies out there. Name of this piece is called My Bitch Better Have My Money.
I'll tell you, Lainey opened up her banking app, and she said, "United States of America, bitch, you better have my money."
Have that money. Have that money, and Lainey, we appreciate it. Like I said,
Lainey told Congress, "You better have my money."
We couldn't do this if it wasn't for you wonderful subscribers pushing our channels, helping our channels. And one thing that you can do to help everybody's channel that I just learned from a YouTube event today. If you really like your YouTubers, you can support and help them grow their channels by watching not just one video, but binge watching their content. So you binge watch Larry's content, binge watch mine, binge watch Nita, and that helps us come up in the algorithm. Thank you guys for your continued support. I'm going to move this one to Nita. It's your turn. When you saw this scene right here, of your boy getting out of jail, didn't you think that this was going to happen? But what else was you thinking besides the fact that you knew he wasn't going to be in jail long?
What else was I thinking other than I knew he was going to get out soon, but in that car ride told me that he's going to dispose of him.
Yep, exactly.
That's what I got from that scene.
Exactly.
Moochie. Nah, you can't be saying nothing about no CIA or willy-nilly, like, no.
Nope, he running his mouth, man. He's a liability. Moochie, what was you thinking on this scene?
Like he from the night before he signed his death warrant. I'm CIA, puto. When he said that, he signed his death warrant there. When he's like, you know what? I gotta use him now because he's gonna help me get this get the drugs or whatever.
That Mooch, man, I can't with you, man. What did he say, Moochie?
I'm CIA, puto.
The floor is yours, Larry.
Yeah, man. There is you see right there on the side of his neck, right there. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's his death clock right there, just counting down. That's it, right there, just counting down. And Reed's just like, as soon as that bad boy hits 0, you're done, Gustavo. You know. So,
but Larry,
he's not gonna see it coming. He's not, because he's gonna think, okay, he's gonna be like, Reed's my man's in them. He trusted me, brought me in. He got me out of jail. He's not gonna see it coming. It's just gonna be one day. It's just all of a sudden his lights are gonna go out.
Yeah, he's gonna do it real friendly.
Yep. Even though I don't want to see this happen to Gustavo, he's making some real dumb decisions right now, man. I'm hoping he gets spared, but we'll see. Okay, here's some more of the foolishness going on, my people. This is what was starting to make me more frustrated with Skully. Okay, so yes, he's emotional. Okay, yes, your emotions are high because you lost your daughter, but you still have to act in line. This guy's all up in the hospital going crazy, following the body, trying to go in here into the autopsy room. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, do you know you're not black and they will call the cops on you and they will be there in like 30 seconds like the Flash? And eventually that's what wound up happening because Skully's acting out of control until Khadijah had to come in there and cuss his butt out. And he went chasing behind her like a little puppy following his mama. Larry, I'm going to give this to you first because I already know how you feel. Thoughts on this scene right here?
I'll tell you, my first thought on this scene is that this doctor right here had been so used to this same thing happening over and over and over again in his hospital because he wasn't even shook by it. He wasn't scared. He wasn't, taken out of himself. He was very calm and was just like, look, I understand how you're feeling, but by law, this is what I have to do for any time there's a murder. And just calmly explained everything to him. And I think that's something that calmness, that coolness only comes from experience. And I think that, he's had to deal with this very thing. Dumbass gangsters, living that life and getting their kids shot up or their friends shot up or their parents shot up. And then they have to come here and deal with the fallout of their own actions. And they're up there trying to act Billy Badass and act like they care now. Where if you really cared, you would have never put those people in that situation in the first place.
Yep. Moochie.
I feel like Khadijah, her name is Khadijah, right?
Yeah, Khadijah.
She solidified herself as wearing the pants at this point. She solidified it, told them to stop acting a damn fool, and you're going to let them do what they got to do.
Yeah, she did. She put the hammer down, man. I ain't talking about Greg the Hammer Valentine. She dropped the hammer. Do you hear me? Nita, what was you thinking on this scene?
Yep, I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, he was just, them black parents that want to throw themselves in the casket down in the ground with their children, like that kind of theatrics. But still felt bad for him. Still felt really bad for him. So and Khadijah did, like I said, they made a point to make sure that we knew that Khadijah had a different type of, she's more logical, he's more emotional. So,
well, for all we know, they might be trying to go the route of power and let Khadijah step into the role of being like Tasha, only with a little bit more authority. I wonder. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yep. All right, people. We get into some predictions that we made last week that wound up coming true. But before we get to that, y'all knew Franklin was going to wind up calling Teddy because they got that relationship. He called Teddy because he needed to get the information on what the police knew on this Leon situation, and Teddy gave up the goods. Moochie, I give it to you first. What was you expecting? Did you think they was going to have something on Leon, or you thought that maybe it was a clean scene?
I thought it was going to be clean. I didn't even think about the bullet part, but then I thought about what Louis said about him being his worst. He put himself in the bad situations. Leon's his own enemy.
Okay. Nita, what'd you think?
He basically told him he couldn't help him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did.
He's like, hold your own balls. Y'all got to figure that street shit out. I ain't getting into all that. That's what I've been hearing like the last couple of episodes. He just like, you gotta handle that.
I don't want nothing to do with that. He's just like, where your bodyguard?
Well, let me tell you something. Y'all see, this is why me and Larry got to be careful with y'all women, because y'all be off the chain. I mean, Larry, they got jokes tonight. Larry, what'd you think about this scene?
I think Reed really did help him, actually, because he told him that the cops have Leon's fingerprint and they're actually actively looking for him, which allowed them to go scoop up Leon and get him off the streets before he was picked up by a cop and get arrested. So, I mean, and part of the reason why I think that's important is because I'm not sure that they're feeling super comfortable with Leon, like that Leon wouldn't flip, because let's remember now that we have Leon up there looking at potentially a death sentence. If he's up there with convicted of murder of what was in the car, 5-6 people plus a little girl. I mean, he killed. I think the one woman lived. So you have there was 2 in the front, 3 in the back, and he killed 4. There's 4 people dead. So, I mean, he's looking at potential death sentence, and I could see very easily where they could come to him and say, look, here's the deal. You give us information on Franklin and his drug operation, and maybe we'll get you on witness protection and get you up out of here. So I think maybe they were looking at it as we need to not just get to Leon to save him from Skully and ManBoy. We need to get him so we can find out, because that was the first thing they wanted to know was what's he like? Where's his head at? And but I think that I don't know, that whole thing. I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for Leon and what he did necessarily, but I feel bad for Leon in some respects, because all this shit that happened to him really right now is as a direct result of Franklin and his stupidness with this war. And if he had just kept Leon close to him, he wouldn't be in this situation. Leon, from the beginning, said, I told him not to get involved with this. I told him not to get involved with all this stuff, and he did. And then he tried to set up this stupid shootout that was supposed to kill one or both of them, and that didn't work. And then as a consequence, they start going after Leon because they're thinking, oh, Leon and Franklin are still cool like that. And now Leon's in the middle of all this, and his life is blown up. And I think Franklin recognizes that and feels like he owes Leon some sense of not just loyalty, but actual assistance, because he realizes that he put him in this predicament, So, I mean, it's a tough situation for him, but and I think even in the previews, we even heard him when they were having an argument. I think they were in a house or in the club or something. He said, this is all because of you. This stuff is all because of you, So I think their best. If they're not going to give Leon up, I think their best option is to get him up out the country, because the cops are looking for him, Skully's looking for him, ManBoy's looking for him. You can't have him anywhere. Anybody who's standing next to Leon is not safe. So you need to get him up out the country.
All right. Well, next scene, ladies and gentlemen, is a scene that, as someone mentioned, our panel did predict last week, and that was the scene where I rightfully said in that trailer review that Leon is daydreaming. He's daydreaming. Franklin got a gun pointed right in his face, and the bodies and the boys is coming to get him. Moochie, I'm gonna give it to you first. What do you think invoked this type of daydream from Leon?
He already don't trust Saint, but he wants to, and what I'm trying to figure out is he's going through post-traumatic stress, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this dream was crazy because when he woke up, it was like he still was dreaming.
Yep.
I don't even think it's post-traumatic stress. I think it's current traumatic stress.
This is true because he's scared. He's
in the middle of it.
He's in the middle of it, but I would say it's post-incident stress induced by being in the incident, like Larry said. Like, bruh. Woo.
And like Nita said, I have to keep reminding myself that they're kids.
That's right.
Like 19, 20.
Yeah, they're young as hell. So Nita, what was you thinking when you saw him have this daydream of Franklin and his uncle coming in to snatch the body?
Shit. I say daydream more like a nightmare to me.
Yeah, for real.
That looked like a nightmare.
It was elaborate, wasn't it? I mean, we saw the feet walking through the door. We see him hearing noises. He see Franklin in his face. Larry, what was going through your mind during this nightmare?
Man, I mean, I knew he was dreaming, but I felt bad for him in some respects because he's up there feeling like he can't trust anybody. Like his one boy that he thought he could trust, he's up there now thinking, I can't trust him. And he's feeling all alone. And so, which leads him to get up and go to the next thing he does, which I don't know if you're going to talk about, but, it caused him to get up and sort of make a rash decision.
Okay. I can live with that. Man, I felt the boy. That scene, this whole scene right here really made me understand the fear, the worry, the guilt, the just being up against the wall and cornered that Leon must be going through if he's having these type of visions about someone that it's safe to say used to be his best friend. I mean, this boy is ailing, he's reeling, and you could see it. But nothing more highlighted the pain and everything Leon's going through than this scene right here when Franklin's mama came in and pulled a Mario and braided his hair. And when he was getting his hair braided, this boy was tearing up. I mean, this is a hard thug tearing up while somebody else's mom is braiding his hair. Moochie, you get first dibs at this scene. Was it as emotional for you as it was for me? And I used to have cornrows, by the way, so I can relate to getting your cornrows done and having deep conversation with a hot female. Only this time the female's not that hot. But go ahead, Moochie.
This goes to show you that Sissy is the block's mom.
Yep.
You know how you got that house that everybody goes to?
Yep.
And she's like the block mom. At the end of the day, she still sees him as somebody, as like her son. Like, this could have been my boy.
Mm-hmm.
And
this was a touching moment.
Going back to what you were saying with his dream, it shows you that he feels like Franklin is smarter than him.
Okay.
When he said that, do you think I would give you a gun with bullets?
Mm-hmm.
So he feels like he knows that Franklin's smarter than him.
Okay. Nita, what was you thinking?
Oh my God. I mean, I think I shedded a little thug tear.
Oh, be careful now. I know you wear that $high mascara and everything. You don't be crying on all that $high makeup, Nita the Diva. I mean, it ain't cheap now, so you be careful over there with your tears.
Right. But it was so touching. And just like Moochie said, like, I don't know if she's the neighborhood mom, but I know that because of Franklin and his relationship, she treats that boy. She sees that boy as her, like as a additional son, like a adoptive son or whatever, however you want to say it. And the fact that she just kind of gave him that love and that just something like just some comfort to, because I know she knows he feels bad. She know they out there in the streets doing the things that they're doing, but I know that she doesn't feel like he wanted to do that, and he feels bad about it. And he's like in a corner, he is trapped, and she don't know his fate. He don't know his own fate either. So it's just like one of those things, like, it's just like a real moment, just giving that love and that comfort just in the present, because we don't know what the future gonna hold.
Good. Damn right, Nita. Larry, what you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, I feel her. It was one of those scenes I think they did a really good job on. It was really an emotional scene, when she tells him to go sit down, and then she says no on the floor, and then she goes and starts braiding his hair. That was nice. I just think that, part of me is like, okay, this is a nice touching scene, but then I'm like, you have to remember that here she is, the mother of the largest drug dealer, and at this time probably on at least of the whole West Coast, if not the country, and she's enabling all of this. She's assisting it. She is making it possible for him to grow and to expand and all of that through her assistance. And so part of me is like, I sort of feel bad, and it's an emotional sense, but it's sort of like you're just as guilty as anyone else, you know?
Okay.
I mean, you were just as guilty as anyone else. And I mean, I'll tell you what would have been the gangster ass thing for them to have done in this thing if she would have told him to go sit down so that she can braid his hair, and right as she's braiding his hair, she just takes out a straight razor and slits his throat and walked out. That would have been the dope shit, because then she would have been like, no one's gonna endanger my boy, no one's gonna endanger my son, no one. You know, that would have been the gangster ass. That would have been, if they would have done that, I would have been like, oh, that's how you make a scene. You know, that would have been gangster.
But Larry, how you gonna ridicule her for being in the drug game?
I know.
And then you want her to slice somebody's neck in the name of her son? I mean,
Because
those two don't.
I'll tell you why.
They don't add
like
up.
it when people. I hate it when people try and pretend they're not something that they are. Don't try and pretend that you are not a criminal, that you're just some real estate developer, that you're on the up and up, and you're just trying to get your son out of the business. No. You're a criminal. You are a money launderer and a criminal who is aiding and abetting and assisting a murderer and drug dealer. So don't try and pretend that you are something that you are not. Be what you are.
Larry, she tried to do it the legit way.
Isn't Larry? Isn't she doing that, Larry? Isn't that exactly what she's doing? I mean, she this season fully embraced what Franklin is doing.
I think once the cop did what he did, that's what broke her.
Yeah, that's what broke her.
She's still running around trying to pretend like she's not just like that scene after she met with the dude at the country club, and she was up there telling Franklin how much longer I've been doing this to get you out of this. I've been doing this to get you legit, and he's not going legit. She knows he's not going legit. She should just say, look, you're not going legit, so cool, I'm out. I'm not helping you anymore. I'm out. I don't want any parts of this. So that's what you should do.
You would be comfortable with her pulling a Leon mama. You know, give me some money and then I'm done with you, frankly.
She doesn't even need to say that. She already has some holdings. She should just take what she has and dip. She could take the buildings or the apartment buildings, sell them, and move out to another state. Take herself and move to Albuquerque or something. Go and move to DC and go get herself a nice place in Georgetown or something. Whatever. But don't sit up there.
Franklin, no. Remember, she mentioned like we could leave.
But she's not. She's gonna sit up there and act like she's not a criminal. Act like she doesn't like. She's not gonna like. She's not right up in the midst of it. You can't have it both ways. You can't sit up there and try and put yourself above it while you're actually in the middle helping it.
I don't think that's what she's doing. It looks like
exactly what she's doing.
It looked like she has fully embraced the fact that her son is a drug dealer. And she's trying to create a pathway for him to get out so that they can get out.
They have their pathway if they want out.
That's what I'm saying.
You forgot
they already have it. They have a fuck ton of money. They have enough money that they could be out right now if they wanted to. They have so much money. They don't even know what to do with the money they have. They have so much money they can be out right now and never, ever have to work again. But they
already gave the warning if he tried to leave last week.
Then what Franklin should do is tell his mom, be out, go, take the money, go somewhere else and set everything up. I'll deal with this here. The mom should not still be there. Franklin, if Franklin has to stay so that he can deal drugs, whatever. But the mom right now at this point is pretending that she's something that she's not. She's trying to pretend that she's just a real estate developer and a businesswoman trying to get her son out of the game when really she's just a criminal in the game. That's all it is. She is just the business wing of his criminal organization. That's all it is.
All right.
Bottom line.
He tried to get her to leave so many times. And
right. And she's still there.
Tried to get her to leave before the shootout, the first shootout.
Right. And she's still there because she's a criminal. So you guys are making my point. She's there because she wants to be, because she's a criminal.
Right.
No, so stop pretending that you're not. Just be what you are. She should have taken a blade and slit his throat, and then just when Leon said, "Why'd you do it?" Because he was a threat to you and the organization, so he had to go.
Well, if it was Louis braid in his hair, that's what would have happened.
Yeah, I still don't understand how her braiding his hair and not killing him doesn't mean it's showing that she's being something different. because she's aiding in the abetting of someone who just shot someone. So she's still being a gangster. She's still being a criminal. That's what I don't understand.
She's acting like she's not. She's not acting
How?
like she's up there trying to talk to Leon and talk to everybody else like she's just a business person, that she's just trying to help him get out of this life. And she's not just trying to help him get out of this life. She's fully living this life. She needs to stop playing around and acting like she's just trying to help him get out. She is just the business side of his criminal organization. She needs to just recognize, I'm a criminal and that's what I am.
Right.
She's not a murderer though.
It's gonna take her some time. She's moving into that role. She's gonna come to the realization she may end up being the coldest person out there.
She might wind up getting killed.
You think eventually she's gonna get a body?
Man,
it might be her body. At this point, when I see the way, I think it was nice the way she treated him and his to show him some kindness and compassion in his moment of sorrow. I think every human being, at some point in their life deserves a moment of compassion. But at the same time, if she ends up dead because Khadijah or Skully or somebody just caps her, I'm not feeling bad for her.
Yeah.
I would have felt bad for her last season. I might have even felt bad for her during episode 1. But at this point, I'm like, you just need to recognize you're just a criminal. That's all you are.
Well, why don't we talk to people who are recognizing they're criminals, but they're trying to act contrite now. They're trying to have feelings for someone they're supposed to hate. Okay, so you got old Skully is in a meeting with ManBoy and his sister. And this is another situation where Khadijah dropped the hammer down and said, Skully, sit your ass down. My brother is trying to apologize to you, because Skully had pulled out a gun and was talking all tough. ManBoy finally decided, look, man, we need to just link up. We can make this thing happen. Khadijah told Skully to shut the hell up. He did. Larry, what was you thinking on this scene?
Yeah, I kind of knew where this was going. I was like, they're going to end up working together. They're going to end up being sort of, allies of sorts, because they have a family connection right there. And maybe that connection has been severed somewhat because of the kid's death, but there's still a family, there's still familial ties there. So, and this is that scene, this is that moment right there when he looked at ManBoy and told him, you told me not to have her around all this stuff. You told me not to have my little girl around all this, and so in that moment you can see Skully sort of like, I'm not blaming you for this, and I'm sort of recognizing that you were the one looking out for her and I didn't listen to you, and now she's gone. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this season if they both ended up dead.
Damn. Moochie, ball's in your court.
I'm gonna stick on my word that ManBoy is an opportunist. He just turned in the screw. Getting him to do what he's manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it right through him. He's like an opportunist. He came here. He knew how he was gonna play this out. Who knows? He might have basically started that shooting last season thinking it was gonna pan out like that.
I agree with you, Moochie. And there's another scene we're gonna cover that solidified it for me. But before we get there, go ahead, Larry.
So I wanted to point out in the comment section, so I think it was OC Girl 81 said, hey, he's going in on Girl Roz. If it was Effie or Ramona, he wouldn't be saying that. I just want to say, I think that's a false equivalency, because first of all,
Larry, if you about to go on a 2-minute tangent, I'm not going to let you do it. Okay.
I'm just going to keep it real short. I just want to say Ramona, first of all, is not a criminal. If we remember, Ramona is a straight up a political operative. She is not a criminal. And Effie fully acknowledges her criminality. She knows she's a criminal. She doesn't say that she's anything else. She goes to college, but she also does not deny that she is a criminal. She never has.
And you don't think Ramona knew Ghost had dealings and she was about to meet him in his room before he got killed by his son?
I don't know what she knew. I
know.
They presented it as if she only knew
he had a past in the drug game, and she was still going to go in there and split them panty draws with someone that had a criminal past, Larry. That was
Well,
Ramona.
no, she was under the impression that he had done these things in his past and had left that life and become a legit businessman. That's where Ramona's position was. She didn't know about his current ongoing criminal activities.
She knew he was as slithery as Tate, and she knew Tate was breaking laws.
And Various is biased because he's in love with Ramona.
Whatever.
Okay.
Effie is a straight up drug dealer. She knows that. Everyone knows that. She doesn't try and pretend to be something that she's not.
No, she didn't. Nita, finish us off on this scene right here. What was going through your mind?
Yep, the same thing. Allies, friend of my enemy is my friend. So
frenemies.
Yeah. So I think that there is going to be some type of an alliance, and Larry hit it right on the head that he said that he told him not to have that baby in, all around all of that. And so that did show that he cared about the baby in some kind of form or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Khadijah is really she wearing the pain.
And this was like a follow-up to that scene. He was in there getting tattooed, and Khadijah's like, would you stop that SHIT and get up? And damn if he didn't stop.
Yeah.
I was like, man, who really run this? It ain't Beyonce that's running it, it's Khadijah that's running it. God almighty. All right, we're getting close to the end. Here's another one. I'm gonna give this one to Larry because this is his girl. Larry, Irene done got people she can get off in prison. What tell me how this is gonna break down.
I think this scene is so important to say. I mean, because it was just one of those things that it speaks to the US government on so many different levels. It's like, here are these two dudes who have been in jail for almost a year without any due process at all. They were like, we haven't seen the inside of a courtroom to plead guilty, not guilty, nothing. We haven't had the opportunity to speak to attorneys. We haven't got our vote, nothing. They were like, we got picked up and we've been in custody ever since, And then they were like, when they tried to say it, I love the way she put it too. And she said, well, when she said, I want you to talk to me. And the one dude said, you mean to be a snitch? And she was like, it's not a snitch if you're telling on the dude that told on you. And I was like, that looping argument right there is like, are you snitching? If you're just going after the dude that gave you up, are you really snitching? And then when she was like, the dude that gave you up is CIA, I mean, it just really goes to show how dirty these dudes are. It's like the CIA's in the drug game, then they lock these dudes up, then they don't even give them any sort of due process. It's just like, man, there's just so much jankiness going on in the world. You just have to wonder how many more people like them are locked up in some jail somewhere without any kind of due process.
Agreed. Nita the Diva, what was your thoughts on this Irene scene?
Yeah, I think this might lead to something. This could lead to something big, really.
Okay.
So she might have her hands on something that might lead to something big. So
right.
I'm looking.
Moochie, you get the last word on Irene, the nosy reporter who gets paid big money to be a professional nosy person.
The nosy reporter don't know who she getting ready to let free because they some loose cannons.
Oh, I got to see your face on
how
that
crazy
one.
they was? How they made the brother sniff all that coke?
That's a good point. That's a good point, Mooch. That's a good point. So
to me, I don't think this is a good idea. Teddy had them locked up for a reason.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that too.
Yeah, those dudes had the brother sniffing all that coke to where he ended up getting a heart attack.
Right.
Moochie, you remember stuff from season 1, huh?
Yeah, I did my homework, y'all.
She sure do. So you guys smack those thumbs ups for Moochie who hang with the fellas because she be on it. Now we're kind of getting down to some of the last clips before we let you good people go. So close to the end, Franklin gets a visit from who other than ManBoy, basically putting Franklin in his place, telling him to watch his back. Larry, I'm going to give this first scene to you. What was going through your mind when the young buck is stepping to who's supposed to be the OG and I'm tired of Franklin looking so stiff, looking like there ain't an inch of testosterone. If you sprinkle him underneath a lion pissing, he ain't got no testosterone. What was you thinking in this scene?
Yeah, I was watching this thinking both these dudes are overplaying their hand, you know? Like, ManBoy stepping to him like, hey, you know what? You're nothing without me and Skully and you know, what do you have? And you know, and Leon's like, I got the plug, that's what I got, and blah blah. You know, but part of me's like he's overestimating his value with the plug, and ManBoy's overestimating his value because it's not like with all this drugs, all this cocaine coming in that Franklin couldn't find somebody else to move it. I mean, does he really think that Skully and ManBoy the only two dudes that have a neighborhood? I mean, this dude could go find somebody else. You know? He can go deal with the Mexicans over in East LA, or go deal with the Albanians over in the Valley, or go deal with anybody else. He could deal with all kinds of different people, you know? And he's been talking about expanding. That's the other thing, too, that's kind of funny is ManBoy's thinking, oh, you can't do anything without us. He doesn't realize that they're leaving right there. Like when you see Louie in the back, Louie's about to be out. Louie's literally on her way to St. Louis to go set up shop. I mean, Franklin's like, I don't need you. I mean, sort of he's thinking like, you guys could get right, or you could just not get it at all. Because he was like, I'm about to run this whole organization across the country. I won't even think about y'all, you know? So.
Okay. All right, Mooch, what was you thinking?
I was like, I like ManBoy as a character, the character he's playing, because he's like that sneaky fly guy. But
every time I see that face, I just want to punch him.
Yeah, it's that smirk. That smirk that's just like, that's why I want Franklin to hit him. Because of that smirk. But
yeah, because he got that smirk like, dude. He's like, I'm getting over on you. Yeah, like I'm playing chess while y'all playing checkers. I'm getting over.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
He playing chess while they playing checkers, but he really playing hopscotch. Okay?
Exactly. and hopscotch with no toes. Neither. Last word go to you. What you got on this brother?
Yeah, I had typed in the comments that he always just looks so shiesty.
You sure did. You sure did.
Oh my God, he does look like, but you know what? It could be kind of like his poker face, but for some reason, I feel like I would be antagonized by that look that he just always stepping to me with that type of look or something. I don't know. I don't like it. Like, you know, I always feel like he always come with that look, but I'm like, is that a poker face? I think that's probably like his poker face because he don't want nobody to know how he feeling. He may be feeling, you know, away, but he just kind of plays it cool all the time. Those type things. But yeah, he's a mess. Somebody said he should have been Rockabye Baby a long time ago.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I don't understand still is why Leon just doesn't take dude out. Like, you know, if he's coming over to the club or something, like you can just say, hey, look, we need to meet about something for a neutral spot, bring him over to the club. All his dudes come into the cars, his car is alone outside. Just have somebody come from the outside, stick a bomb on the car. And then you do your meet, you give him some drugs or whatever, you guys go off. He drives away 5 miles down the road. Boosh! There you go. Done. No more ManBoy. No more ManBoy's crew. Done.
Okay. Well, and in a very
murder is a tool when you're in this game. You might as well use it.
Larry, they're gonna drag this out because he's becoming the character that everybody loves to hate.
He sure is.
Because that smirk, that smirk. That's what bring that. And then he's nice looking, so you know, you like, all right, yeah, but you look good though. But you know,
why is it that when Moochie said that, all I could think about was Wendy Williams? Yeah, you look nice though, but you know, all I could think about was Wendy Williams. Last scene, people. All right, we knew this was going to happen. Skully catches.
He looked like he was about ready to go into cardiac arrest trying to run.
Skully catches Leon out and about. Leon is running for his life. And who comes to save the day? Unc and Franklin. Nita the Diva, I'm going to give it to you first. Thoughts when you saw this scene coming? And I know you had to see that Leon was going to get saved.
I did, but I was wondering, was this planned or was this by happenstance? That's what I kept wondering. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. He was with Franklin, so it probably was planned.
Yeah, it looked like to me that they had this thing set up. They probably was following him around, more likely. Moochie, what'd you think about this scene with your boy Cuba Gooding Skully, who couldn't run?
If Leon would have listened to Franklin, this wouldn't have happened. Remember, he told him to stay in the side, right? And
he did.
Got spooked when he saw his face on TV. So I now understand why he ran. But this guy running.
Oh man,
hell of a shot.
He was like, "Get it, go right there."
Larry, last word go to you on this scene. This was a scene right here. It told you a lot. What'd you think?
Well, this is the scene that I was thinking of earlier when Leon went back to his crib to go get that money from underneath the chair.
Yep.
And I was thinking to myself, why didn't he do like they did in Power? But this was 20 years earlier, so it's probably the Power people learn from these dudes' mistakes. Like, you don't go put all your go bag money in a chair back at your spot, because that's where people are gonna go looking for you. So they did, like, you know, he should have done like they did in Power, which was when they had the little laundry mat, and they put a burner and some money inside the air conditioning vent or the heating vent, you know, and he just had to unscrew it and go in there and get it. I'm thinking to myself, it should have been the same thing. He probably should have had some go bags stashed around in the city. Maybe should have went to the bus station and put some money in one of the lockers there, or the airport or something, or just rented an apartment or a room from somebody and just have your money stashed there a little bit, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're talking about dealing with tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you would think, like, okay, you might start to think ahead a little bit. Like, okay, somebody's going to try and get me. How do I deal with this? And just start thinking, okay, if I go pay $200 or $400, because this is the 80s, for an apartment somewhere, and just stash my money there, you know, and you don't have to stash a lot, just enough that you can get out. But especially back in the 80s, it was easy as hell to counterfeit a passport. He should have had a passport and some cash and a gun just waiting there in a go bag.
Okay. Well, any last remarks you guys want to give this wonderful audience? I've got 120 people. If you all could smack that like button, and also Definitely. Be sure to follow and watch some other content in any of my playlists. There's a Power playlist. There's a current news events playlist we call Wild Word News. We've got shy information. We've got all kinds of playlists. Go check some of those videos out. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. What do you expect the next episode, starting with Larry?
Yeah, I think we're going to see the war kick on a little bit more. You know, it's going to kick up a little bit heavier. I think we're going to see somebody. I think we're going to see probably one of the more prominent characters in this show get, if not killed, at least shot. Whether it be Louis or Leon or Skully, ManBoy, one of the prominent characters is going to get shot and potentially killed. But yeah, we're definitely seeing that. I think we already know that Louis gets shot, because I think they showed a scene in the hospital where she's already in a hospital bed. So we know that's coming eventually. So I think that's what's happening next episode.
Okay, get with that. Nita the Diva, what you got for the next episode?
I actually thought, because this was the 5th episode, like the midpoint, that it probably happened in this episode, but it didn't. So I'm for sure thinking it's going to happen in the next episode. Because yeah, everything is getting hot. You know, they're on the trail. Like Khadijah done put some fire in their pants, and like, come on, let's get to it. So if it's not going to be Khadijah, if it's not going to be Skully or ManBoy, it's going to be Khadijah. Somebody's going to put the paws on somebody.
Oh man! And Moochie, you get the last word. What can we expect in the next episode?
All right, we already know they're going out to Little Rock, so they're getting ready to set up shop out there. So we're gonna see what's going on over there. Then with Khadijah, she's gonna see how ManBoy, well, not ManBoy, she's gonna see how Skully messed up and missed, and now she's gonna take matters into her own hands. She's gonna set the ball in motion.
Maybe that's what they should send Leon.
Killed, but I think she's gonna start setting the ball in motion to take matters into her own hands.
Maybe that's what they should send Leon, Moochie. Maybe they should send Leon to Little Rock. Let him go
That's
help
what I
set
was
up
thinking,
shop.
or either send him where they go stash the money, where they sending the money overseas. Let him go take the money. You know how they was sending the Franklin was going overseas to send the money. He should go right there.
I have to agree with Tokes, Kazim. I love Louis too. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
Louis looks like a skinny version of what's her name from P Valley.
Who?
Mercedes. She looks like a skinnier version of Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're about the same size in my opinion. But
well, now they're about the same size because she's pregnant. Because Louis pregnant.
Yeah, I can definitely get with that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, go to everybody's channel, subscribe. But more importantly, the most important thing you can do is when you get to people's channel, watch other videos. That really triggers YouTube that we have found love. We are a match for each other. You watch more of my content and we'll support you more. Until that next Sex is Hell video, we'll see you, which will be tomorrow night, by the way. We're covering the Snyder Cut tomorrow, and we're also talking about Anthony. I don't call him Clarence no more, Mackie, Winter Soldier, and the Falcon. We'll see you tomorrow at 9.
Yeah.